And here we are, the Final Cut, the Spoiler Room Special Mark Productions. It is I, Mark the Movie Man, and I'm with Mr. Don Shannahan from Film Obsessive. We got to be careful, Don.
Oh,
This could become a tradition because we did this exact thing last year. Only we are now joined by not only Don Shannahan of Film Obsessive, but also the Cati Glidewell, the blondish in front. Hey, Cati.
Hey.
How you doing? Now, surprisingly enough, with the way the internet has been, I have managed to avoid any and all official look, announcement, or otherwise about the nominations for the Oscars.
I just pounded out 1,600 words on Film Obsessive to do a piece, so I'm overly versed. I apologize.
You are no, that's by all means. Yeah. That's fine.
One of us had to do our homework.
This is going to be fresh eyes on this. Okay. I only saw 2 hints, and I just scrolled past those or just closed it out. Okay. I've been busy at work. I was busy at home here, working on some things, and I played a little Fortnite to stay distracted. And so this is going to be my fresh look at the Oscar 2024 nominations.
Katie, how deep did you dive in the pool already?
Oh, I know them all.
All over it, right? Yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, when they were reading, I was watching them when they were reading them.
See,
I know no one at my work watches anything that I do. It's when I was in the bathroom. I was reading this and okay, I got a good couple minutes before we go to commercial. Let's see who got Best Supporting Actress.
Right.
Let's see who got the screenplays. Done and done. Do I agree with it? Not necessarily, but all right.
Fantastic. Oh, this will be exciting then.
Yes.
But before we dive into that, Don, how are you doing?
I'm okay. My temperature is 98.4 and my pulse rate is 86. I'm good to go. Yeah, no. I'm doing great.
How's your vinyl collection coming along?
My vinyl collection, I sent you some pictures, but I haven't put them on social media yet. My collection has quintupled since the 2 that I got for FYC consideration this year. So I picked up some old, most vinyl stuff I've been getting is at, shout out to a store called Scarcely Used. It's up in Addison in this neck of the woods here. It's kind of a teacher's store where you can, teachers can come in with their IDs and do, they can buy boxes, by the box. You can buy school supplies, lab supplies, books, old curriculum, things like that. It's a very good teacher resource store. That's one half of the store where they also do a ton of recycling in terms of recycling of those materials and then recycling for profit in toothpaste tubes and toothbrushes and stuff like that. Then they have a general go ahead and purchase by title bookstore on the other side, just a small bookstore where they have shelves and shelves of vinyl. And I always knew it was there. And once I got this record player, urged by you, thank you very much, where I'm I should stop sending vinyl to Wisconsin. I should keep some of these records.
You should,
but more than anything, my kids, we got the Wild Robot soundtrack on vinyl for FYC, and my kids are we can't listen to it. And I'm no, we don't have a record player. So I was able to poach many discs that were $2 a pop or $1 a pop at my local consignment store. So we've been living in the 1970s in terms of soundtracks and such in my house. A lot of Love Story, a lot of Romeo and Juliet, a lot of Superman, a lot of Rocky. We've been having a good time.
That's so exciting. So exciting. Yeah. My record player died. I just got a new one. It's in the mail. It's on its way. So I'm because I just got a stack of some vinyl that I got because one of the stores, a year-end sale, 50% off. And then I was only going to get 2 because I got the Little Shop of Horrors on vinyl and I got Anna and the Apocalypse on vinyl for our podcast.
Yeah.
But then it was well, if you spend $50, you get free shipping. And I'm I'm already halfway there.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you. Because if you spend $25 more, you don't have to pay for that $8 shipping. Which is wait.
Then you weigh it because it's medium shipping, so it's a little more expensive. It's $12 or $15 for shipping. So I'm well, that's another record, and then I'm only $15 away from the free shipping.
I'm telling you, that's how they get you.
I know how they. I'm fully aware. I'm almost 50. I am very aware how they get you. I like using that for my justification. So
yeah. And do they have the time? It's like only for this limited time, which is like, you only have 7 minutes left. You better hurry.
Boy.
I always tell my mom, like, look, if there's a time limit on that, no.
Cati, I know you've been telling me about your expanding VHS collection. How's your vinyl collection? Are you a vinyl person?
You know, it's very interesting. I am a little bit of a vinyl person. In fact, I have Talk to Me right behind me over here.
Oh, nice.
And I kept buying the vinyl, even though I did not have a record player.
Oh.
And then last year, my friend Anthony Williams, after a major surgery, he was like, I know you're going to be spending a lot of time at home. And he bought me the record player so that I could play my vinyl. And I cried.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I've actually been getting a little bit more. It's A24, man. I got to say, I am a slut for A24 soundtracks. Like,
they have such nice ones.
Yeah.
Nice ones.
And the artwork is beautiful. I mean, it's that Waxworks. I mean, I'm a sucker for a beautiful, beautiful artwork.
Yeah, Verity Sarabon's been doing some good stuff. Yeah, there's so many.
Sarabon has been getting better, but it's still the boutique stuff. My number one go-to guys are Terror Vision, who are wonderful, and they've ventured out into VHS and Blu-ray, and that's where you get the obscure cult type music from them. Mondo does a little bit more of the mainstream, and they do the obscure, but they usually do a little bit more mainstream, but stuff that hasn't been released in ages is Mondo. And then Waxworks also does that as well. And then I go to the local stores and occasionally get from a regular brand name, but otherwise those are usually the 3 or 4 boutique ones if I'm looking I'll get from. So wow, no, we're not turning this into a vinyl podcast, but I'm making a mental note. We may have to do one sometime. But Cati, how are you doing?
I'm very good. Today was a good day. You know, I'm excited. You put this together to talk about the nominees because but this is an interesting year. I will definitely say that. Little disappointed in some of the picks. It was people kept asking me, I kept getting messages like, so what do you think? Who do you think is going to be nominated? I'm like, look, it's one of those things I've been telling my nephew since he was 6 years old. Don't ever put your heart into the Oscars because it will break it every time. And that was after he loved what was it, spicy guacamole. It was like some short that was not great. And I was like, and he was certain that it was going to win. He was 6 years old. And I had to break it to him like, no, it's not. He's like, no, I think it's the best. I'm like, okay, I'm going to let you have this. And then when it didn't win, he cried. And I'm like, sweetheart, you can't put your heart into the Oscars. You really can't.
You know, if it wasn't quite, more mature movies, and they should do the Oscars like they do with the Super Bowl and have a Nickelodeon broadcast version where they have the
Oscars Puppy Bowl between all the animated movies that are in the top of the box office.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
the animated section.
Yeah, 2 trends I kind of saw up front before you get to the list. Is like last year was what felt like like a return to form in terms of like big Hollywood meets popular movie stuff. Like the 2 top highest box office earning movies, Oppenheimer and Barbie, had 21 Oscar nominations between them. This year, you go to the top 4 box office earners, they have a combined total of 1 Oscar nomination, and it's Inside Out for animated feature. You got to get to 5th place till Dune 2, which got a smattering of 5, which is less than the number of wins the first one got. So you have that.
The spoilers, Don. No, just kidding.
Well, no. But you have this situation where like you have just, you're kind of back to where we've been pissing and moaning the last few years, where it's the artsy crowd more than it is like you're going to have that classic talk of like a disconnect between Hollywood and everybody else. And then the other part is some of that is because of a gap year of sorts, because we around, before this time a year ago, we had 2 strikes, so that delayed, well, at least 2 years ago, I should say, but we had you had 2 work stoppages that put kind of a delay on things where big contenders that wanted to come out kind of either move like Dune did, like they wanted the press for it, but they didn't have any chance to do press for it, so they bumped it to February, thinking it had the year to itself to smoke things and not double down and like split the vote for its own studio of Barbie's vote and then not compete against Nolan. And then that kind of didn't pay off with that move. And then the other thing is like you have like compared to Oppenheimer last year, and you'll see this on the list, there are double-digit nominee films here, but none of them feel like a clear like juggernaut public and critic come together frontrunner thing the way Oppenheimer and Barbie were last year. You have Wicked a little bit, but that's kind of it. Wicked and Dune, but they're not probably favorites in just about any of the categories they're in. So you'll see this when you get to the list that it's a weird year. It's a step down year in my opinion.
It is, and I have said this in different areas that look, I think Dune 2 surpasses the first Dune. There should be no reason why this isn't a front runner for Best Picture. Coming out in March, because it came out the weekend before the Oscars. Mm-hmm. I thought that was Warner Brothers like doing that, big dick energy. It's like, exactly. You didn't think that we weren't going to, have any competition with Oppenheimer? Well, look at this. And it's like, well, look at you. Yeah. But the fact is, they should have re-released it in November and December so that everyone had it in their mind. I didn't forget it. No, Dune 2 was my number 2 film of the year. And it's like, I still think I think it should have gotten more nominations than, and we'll talk about this, but I think Warner Brothers definitely dropped the ball on this. And you have a film that honestly should be in top contention for Best Picture.
It should rake.
And so many people have forgotten about it. And it's a shame because it is excellent.
Which is really weird because I will bring up my prime example, one of my favorite action films in the last 15 years, Mad Max Fury Road, that came out in a March release. If I remember,
the summer, I thought, right? No, no, you're right, March. Yeah.
It was.
It's rare,
which is rare, but people still remembered it, and it won. It got nominated for a number of Oscars, won as many as La La Land, and I will love to dig La La Land on that every time. It won 6 Oscars. La La Land won 6 Oscars. But
like Get Out did it where it went over a year. It went from February to the next March and scored. Silence of the Lambs back in the day did it when it came out in February, made it to the next March. Like it happens, but you need to be like either not necessarily a weak year, but you need to be a different kind of juggernaut than, well, I shouldn't say a different kind of juggernaut than Dune 2 because Dune 2 should be enough. Like that's fucking Dune 2. Like
it should be.
It's the 5th highest grossing movie of the year. That's not a kids movie and not Deadpool and Wolverine. And like that's serious. Like it's a serious movie, and it outdid its first one in every regard. And here it is with, and again we're tipping in lists and spoiling, with just 5 piddly nominations, and it can hang its hat on Best Picture, but then the other 4 to be just art and tech it's amazing. If you would have done this poll in August. And it's classic Oscar voter thing where nothing matters before November most of the time. Because if you would have pulled this like Katie and I are talking about in August, this thing has like, one of those like Titanic Hall, 13 nominations. You have, 2 supporting actors. You have Timothée Chalamet getting nominated for this and not Bob Dylan. Like this movie has double-digit wins. Maybe I don't know about double-digit wins, but it's got double-digit nominations and maybe 8-9 wins in its belt. In the bag, sold, done, but it might not win a thing in a month and a half here. Oh.
Which that is very crazy. Very disappointing to me. Like from the get-go, I was raving about Rebecca Ferguson. I was raving about Austin Butler. I think he did the role he took with this and everything. I think surpasses what he did with Elvis. I think, Rebecca Ferguson, I think it's standout. Those 2 are the standout performances to me. And
you'll see that in a minute here, Mark. Tough. It's like
Skarsgård even did better in Dune. That was his best performance of the year was Dune.
For sure.
I that's of his performances. I enjoyed his other, but that one, he was Nosferatu, but if I had to between the two, I'd choose his role in Dune before Nosferatu.
Yeah,
and not just
that's another thing. Like, it's nice to see, and you're spoiling again. Sorry, it's nice to see The Substance get 5 nominations, and like Horror get a nod, and get good nods too. Like, it was picture, director, screenplay, actress. 4 of its 5 nominations are top category nominations for Substance. But like, that's about as far into horror as Hollywood's willing to get, because Nosferatu gets like 4 nominations just in arts and tech. So they're not ready to fly that bloody freak flag yet, and they never probably will be. So.
And that's not really spoiler, because that's what I kind of expected. So we'll just dive right into the list. And I have, just looking at the list right now, I am not surprised, given how the award season's usually gone.
You got one big surprise right there, an actor. Well, one big one.
Actually, I should say there is one, only because, and I feel bad because out of all the films on this, there's 2 I haven't seen. One of them I really wanted to see. One of them I didn't care for. But you got Adrian Brody, The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet, A Complete Unknown. Okay, Ralph Fiennes. I'm glad to see him with Conclave. Love seeing a little bit of Conclave love, because I really enjoyed that film last year, and that was kind of that out of nowhere dark horse where you didn't really hear too much about it, but everybody who saw it was like, "Oh my god, look at this cast! Oh my god, this movie's actually really decent."
Yeah. It's normally the Oscar bait of steady, perfect casting. Like, there's not a thing wrong with Conclave. No, but it's not as edgy as the other nominees you see here, where it's your typical traditional Oscar fare movie that I'm surprised it only got the 8 nominations. 8, I think. Did it get 8 or 6?
I think it got 6.
Yeah, not a lot.
I don't know.
Yeah, because like the flashy stuff kind of always jumps over the traditional stuff, but here it is. But then you're surprised after 8.
Coleman Domingo is Sing Sing, which
I
know everybody loved Sing Sing. And some one that I'm going to see before the Oscars. I plan on seeing it because
you should, because I'm going to be talking about that a lot on this episode.
A lot of people. And Sebastian Stan as The Apprentice, considering
wild
film that nobody's really seen at all.
I have.
Oh yeah, I tooted his horn. He's worth it. He deserves to be here. Period. Yeah. But it's crazy because no one expected.
So, and I am very, very happy that, and with the supporting, we'll talk about it, but that Jeremy Strong got nominated for The Apprentice. I think I actually am surprised though with his win with
Globes
Glow of A Different Man, that he got that over The Apprentice. And
you got like an RDG year where it's Tropic Thunder, but Iron Man's in his back pocket, you know?
But I'm also wondering if this is kind of like a middle finger to for a political reason, possibly. I don't know.
Would the Oscars ever do that? No.
I mean, of the 5, I think he's in 5th place of what's going to happen. Coleman Domingo, I called that as soon as I got done watching Sing Sing. I've been seeing it, like, of this list, he was the first one that I knew was going to be nominated, like, from the get-go. I think it's probably going to be Adrian Brody. It depends if there's going to be more stuff going on with The Brutalist. It's like, oh, well, they used AI. Well, they did this. Blah blah blah.
I went on social media before the Golden Globes, and I said, The Brutalist is going to be this year's Killers of the Flower Moon, American Hustle, Irishman, where it's going to get double-digit nominations and watch it win in 0.
You
know, where not anymore. I think like Adrian Brody has emerged where that's its spot to easily like get one. But then like you hear this AI stuff and like you can kiss production design goodbye.
Yeah.
You can kiss, like the other things that it probably would have won, like production design, was probably this. After that, though, it is not the best out of any of its other disciplines than Adrian Brody. Like, it was either Adrian Brody production design, maybe score, or bust. Or else it goes over. Now, the other thing would be, and we haven't got this far into the thing, but Amelia Perez, it's got its pushback in the critical community, in the public community, where I don't know, it's got 13 nominations. Netflix has done that. Netflix has had 6 straight years with a Best Picture nominated film. and it's never broken that glass ceiling. Of those Best Picture nominees, the 6 years, 4 of them have been double-digit nominee films. Roma, Mank. I'm missing one obvious one. Oh, The Irishman, and all that.
Yeah.
And like The Irishman famously went 0 for 10, where if Amelia Perez keeps pissing people off, and it can't beat Demi Moore and Adrian Brody and all the other places, like it has a double nominee in song, and that might be its one spot that it wins. And there's dark horses there that can take that spot, or it splits its own vote. But like, there's a chance Amelia Perez goes 0 for 13.
I'm going to disagree.
Yeah,
I'm going to disagree with that.
Where does it win?
Best Supporting Actress.
No, in this year's field with maybe with Margaret Qualley not there,
we'll with Jamie Lee Curtis not being nominated.
Yeah,
I think.
Thanks for the spoiler. I'm not even gonna go through the list. You guys can
no. Sorry.
No, we're ending the podcast. That's it. That's fine. It's good. Thank you. Good night. No, we're good.
No. It's like 2 categories down on your list here, but
yeah, I know. We're almost.
I'm teaser for later here.
I'm just giving you guys shit.
We deserve the shit we get.
We deserve it. I'm sorry.
No, this list isn't really a surprise for actor. Pretty much everybody I expected would be on here, except for Sebastian Stan, I'm going to say, for The Apprentice. And even though I haven't seen them all, just from the buzz and things I've seen and the way awards have been going, this doesn't really surprise me. So, and Best Supporting Actor, Yura Borsov for Anora, not a surprise.
No.
Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain, not a surprise either. Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown. I heard a lot of buzz with him as supporting actor, even though I haven't seen Complete Unknown yet. But it's good to see him back on the list again. Yeah. Guy Pearce and
career first nominee for Guy Pearce.
The Apprentice. You know what I am surprised I'm not seeing in here, which is a surprise, is stuff from the Nickel Boys.
Yep. Nickel Boys. Clarence Macklin from Sing Sing has won a lot of precursor awards and is not in this field.
Clarence Macklin from Sing Sing honestly pisses me off that he's not in this.
And the only thing pushing back, and we got 2 more categories in the acting, but the only thing pushing back the Oscars so white this year is the show up of Hispanic nominees. Like there's 13 Hispanic people with Hispanic descent in their family tree that are nominated for acting Oscars this year. If it wasn't for them, it's Coleman, and I think that's it. Coleman and Cynthia, and that's it. So
it's just a little disappointing, at least in supporting, if nothing else, because I didn't do a review on Nickel Boys, but I did watch Nickel Boys, and not only was it an interesting way to tell that story, a very effective way. They only do one thing in it that I didn't quite care for, which was they Christopher Nolan it as far as time jumping. I felt like
challenge.
I felt like it didn't exactly need that. I understand why they did it for the hook at the end, but at the same time, I was really into the story, the main story part, and then it kind of took me out. But the performance of the 2 leads in Nickel Boys, I thought were really well done, especially for what they had to do for that
virtual newcomers too,
and they're relative newcomers. So
I got to meet them in person.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah.
Very cool.
I got that Hollywood trip where for Amazon, where I got to meet Ethan Heresy and Brandon Wilson, and got to do a 10-minute interview with them. They were dolls. They were wonderful people. So and I was rooting for them too.
They were great in that film, and I think that this is definitely going back to what I discovered when the internet came around, is campaign wise.
Follow the money, man.
I used to think it. I was naive. I understand, but all the way up through the late 90s until the internet came around, I was under the impression that, these winners and nominees, a lot of them, it's because people felt they deserved them. And then come around 2000, internet starts to get big. You start learning about tchotchkes, about private events, about things. And I'm like, that makes so much more sense.
This whole business is like this is an entire separate wing of marketing, and it needs like the Hollywood equivalent of campaign finance reform, because it's out of hand. Netflix especially.
Well,
they're ridiculous.
I showed it on our pre-show for for our Patreon. If people are interested, check it out. The box they sent for Amelia Perez alone. I'm like,
oh yeah.
For the crazy thing is, it works. Like they They have 13 nominations for Amelia Perez. They have other nominations in other places, and they've had double nominees some of those years where they've had those Best Picture nominees, and it works every time. But somewhere along the line, it's like the Oscar voters go, wait a second, we can't give this to you, Netflix. We gave you the nomination. Come sit in the play. Come to the dance, but we're not giving you the prom king crown. So they have not broken that glass ceiling higher than like Best International Feature for All Quiet on the Western Front. Like it hasn't gotten that big, the big one yet. You know.
Yeah.
I think Yura Borisov is great. I think he's kind of like oh, look at him for the Best Supporting, but
he's a yarn.
I think of that 5, take out Guy Pearce and Boris Yurosov and put in Clarence Macklin for Sing Sing and Antonio Banderas for Baby Girl.
Ooh.
I think Antonio Banderas it is a performance that so many people overlooked. I think it's his career best performance.
That's a high
I know
praise.
a lot of people, kept talking about Nicole Kidman. She was amazing, but I think he really stood out to me, and it really. I don't know.
My pick here, if it's not Macklin, I'm a Denzel Washington guy for Gladiator 2. His first supporting role in 21 years.
I'm surprised with that too. That was.
Something tells me it's Norton or Washington. You get one big name in there, and then all these first-time nominees. So
that is a surprise that he's not in
Hollywood royalty. In a show that does not, other than Demi Moore, doesn't have it.
And the thing is, Denzel was one of these shining pluses that everybody I ever heard talk about. They're like, he may have been acting in a different film than what he was in, but he still puts in one of the best performances in Gladiator 2 altogether.
He's also getting to that Meryl Streep stage where he's just, I know he's taking parts and doing easy things, but like he's still runs circles around everyone he's on screen with, no matter if it's big or small. And this was his first supporting role in 21 years where look at you go, man. That was fun. So
yeah.
I wish.
Well, then let's ask the question of the Best Actor and Best Supporting. Who do you guys pick that's going to be the winner?
Well, picking will win, should win is another story
even
here.
Dry yet. I mean, it's like
Brody. In the will win department is Brody. Should win. I'm a Timothy Chalamet guy for a complete unknown. You get up there and you do the accent, you sing, you play, you harmonica. The level of performance he has to do is off the charts compared to everybody else in that list. But Brody will win. In the supporting actor field, with no Clarence Macklin, I don't know who gets that.
I mean, I think right now it's Kieran Culkin's Oscar to lose now.
And that's not a bad place to be.
Shuts up during these acceptance speeches.
Yeah.
And he grows up a little, because I think there's a couple things where people are like, I don't know if we want you up on stage anymore. It's like, it was cute and stuff, but now it's like,
yeah. And it's like the one thing for that film where like it's the Marissa Tomei, My Cousin Vinny kind of moment where it's the holy cow part in a offbeat movie, and it's going to be the thing that everyone's impressed for the Oscars. And he's kind of co-lead. He's a little category front there too. So.
I'm saving my predictions for my prediction show, which will be a B before Oscars. I only say that because I want to try to fit in some of these movies before I actually make my predictions. So, and that's what I did last year as well. Now I still have my consequence films I have to watch and review that I've been putting off almost a year, but I'll have those done before I do my predictions, but usually I do it about a week before the Oscars. I actually make my predictions, because by then I will have watched what I'll have been able to watch. So, but
get a cup of coffee for the Brutalist, buddy. Good luck.
Yeah, well, I've heard of. Yeah, I know. It's sit through. But hey, I've sat through many times Titanic, so I'm like, okay, I've sat through
that one's
the
good.
4 hour. I sat through the 4 hour cut of Civil War twice. So that's so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, this one. Oh, It, like I said, if it wasn't Emilia Perez, it's the Brutalist. That just it is very well done, but is it the best in anything that it is? It's probably not. So that's where I'm at.
So
all right, here we go. Actress, huh?
We're on to the ladies now. This is going to be interesting. Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, not a surprise. Nope. Vicki Madison for Nora. Okay. Demi Moore, great to see her in there. The Substance. Carla Sofia Gasson for Emilia Perez, and then Ferdinand Torres, I'm Still Here, which I had heard things about I'm Still Here, but it was here and gone in the theater before he was even aware it was out.
That's I mean that's like Katie said, like you could go there's Hollywood royalty left off the carpet here. Like you could have easily put Angelina Jolie in there. You could have put Nicole Kidman in there. You could have put
June Squibb for Selma, which was amazing. And pisses me off that she did not get more recognition for this.
Zero campaigning from that place. Like that's classic case of even if that little studio had money, they couldn't get June Squibb in front of anybody because they don't have the campaign for it. Whereas I'm surprised with the Netflix money that Angelina Jolie's not there. Like because that Maria bounce from Netflix
Maria.
is not far from not far from Emilia Perez. So and then Nicole Kidman she's at that age where she's kind of good in everything she does and no two parts are the same, and I'm stunned she's not here too.
Or even the dark horse in the running, I will say, for The Last Showgirl.
Pamela Anderson.
What a story that would have been.
Pamela Anderson, that would have been great for her because that I think, was one of her best performances I've seen her in, to where taking an actual heavy role that was also probably a little cathartic, a little bit of biopic of sorts, with how feeling wise of being kind of aged out of an industry that's always looking to younger. I mean, there's a lot of things said there. And
what a story. Like, and what 3-4 years ago, she was aped in a cable TV miniseries by what's her name? Lindsay James? No, Lily James. Lily James. Where like she was the butt of a cable miniseries joke, and Sebastian Stan too, But here we are with what a story. And I know the Oscars probably only have room for a couple of stories where Demi is a bigger name and a first-time nominee and a bigger story than Pam. Fernanda Torres, this is her first nomination. Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, it's not her first nomination, but it's the biggest, showiest female thing of the year. And then the juggernaut that is Emilia Perez and the firebrand that it brings. You have, the other nominee there. So French what's her first name? Garcon. I forgot her first name.
Carla.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you. Yeah.
That making history.
Yeah. In a year where she might have to get to keep her pronouns. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not in America.
I've seen 3 of these 5, so I'm happy to see, of the 3 that I saw, I'm happy to see them in there because I thought they were really good performances. In fact, Mickey Madison is probably one of the things that I really appreciate out of Anora. I wasn't a big fan of it, as people may want to check out Ian's show when we talk about it, I think. But nonetheless, I think that's a solid pick. And then we have our supporting actresses in here.
I like this feel.
Monica Barbaro for
she plays Joan Baez.
A completely unknown. Ariana Grande for Wicked. Felicity Jones, The Brutalist. Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. Yeah. She was great in there. And Zoe
Sell. Nomination for her in her 60s. Daughter of Ingrid Bergman. Finally gets nominated.
That's the first nom for Isabella Rossellini.
But you think of Velvet. You look at her career and look at her here. So good. Yeah. I know it's the slightest part in the world in Conclave. It's not she's here because she's Isabella Rossellini. Finally.
Yeah.
But she's not going to win. But what a story to get her here.
She makes the most of that role too, though.
Totally.
She did. And she was fantastic. But I do think that I think Jamie Lee Curtis should have gotten nominated for The Last Showgirl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think Monica Barrera was great.
I like her.
I think Isabella Rossellini was great. But I think out of those nominees that Jamie Lee Curtis, of the 2 that I just mentioned, should have replaced one of those 2. I think Felicity Jones, her monologue close to the end of the film is still something I rave about, and I think is one of the best pieces, one of the best scripted line in any scene in last year. And she did a phenomenal job. I think but again, Zoe Saldana, I think this is Zoe Saldana's Oscar to lose. I think she is, I mean, everything she does in Amelia Perez. And I think the reason why the one of the songs is nominated is because of her. I think she is incredible. And I think
she's a Hollywood A-lister and on a night where you probably need to throw one A-lister a bone. I get it.
Well, and I mean, as you said, that could be the one
with Margaret Qualley not there.
Amelia Perez gets.
I know that. Yeah. I think if there's a missing name here for me, it's you said Nickel Boys earlier, Mark. It's Ingenue Ellis Taylor. Should deserve a shot here. This is 2 snubs in a row for her when we go back to Origins, and Katie and I are both in the Origin hive on that one.
Oh yeah.
Don't get started on that. Don't get me started.
I know.
Yeah, and the last showgirl not showing up here is disappointing because I didn't even recognize that it was Jamie Lee Curtis when I watched the film until 15 minutes into the film, like when they get into the house scene and she turns a certain way and she said something. I'm like, oh shit, that's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Underneath the tan, right?
Yeah, I think one of the best performances of her career. And I know she won before for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I feel like since she won that Oscar, all like the performances that she's done with The Bear, with this, and there was something else that I was watching, but I was like, damn, this is what is what we're talking about here. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So it's a surprise because you get that scene too that is memorable in Last Showgirl when no one's looking, she just goes up on stage and she starts dancing and I'm like,
the stage,
but still, you know what I mean? It's on a platform and nobody's paying attention to her, and I'm like, this is wonderfully heartbreaking watching this because she acts the hell out of that. She doesn't say anything, but just the expression on her face and what she's doing and everything, her character, I'm like, heartbreaking.
Unscripted, if I read right, where they kept the camera on her and she went because she finished her lines in the scene that she did, and then the boxer's there and she knows that the other waitresses that she's emulating does that, and got up there, picked her own song and did it. Like just Jamie Lee. But again, that's a classic case of a movie that is just way too small to be seen. There's no one back. I forget which studio has that one, but there's just no backing for it. It's not A24. It's not Focus Features. It's not Netflix. So,
speaking of Best Actress, oh my God, hold on. The actress from Hard Truths.
Yeah, which was the little engine that could from the artsy scene. I feel like Fernanda Torres took that spot from Marianne Jean-Baptiste. Yeah.
I mean, she was it's like, if it wasn't good to Demi Moore, I thought that Marianne Jean-Baptiste was going to be one of the front runners, and now she's not even nominated. And that's a shame. But
it is.
I've also said this too, that she's basically playing a Karen. And that's not something you want to reward. No. But at the same time, it's not, you have to look at the circumstances and like seeing her personal life and everything that, that role is much more than that. But I can see just the general mass, like, great, she's just a Karen on screen, for an hour and a half, just bitching. But
we gave Michael Douglas an Oscar for playing an asshole. It
believe me, I know. But she was phenomenal, and I have not seen I'm Still Here. I thought Carla Sofia Cascan was fine. I didn't think. It's not. I'm not gonna like rag on
part of the coattails
performance or anything like that, but I do feel like there are some other actresses who, were better, and one of them I think is Hard Truth. So
totally,
Marianne Jean-Baptiste. So
but those are your 4 acting categories. 13 Hispanics. Yeah, right, that's not bad.
No, it's not at all.
That'll keep Oscars So White quiet for a year.
It's got a little. We got some representation in there, so at least some. Now,
if it wasn't for them, like I said, we're gonna Cynthia and Coleman.
We're gonna come to probably going to be, and I never thought this was going to happen for probably the hardest category to figure out
who's going to win. This is easy to me, but yeah.
Well, I can kind of suspect who's going to, but
yeah,
I am very happy with the choices for once that are up here. For animated feature film, we're looking at Flow. Yay! I love Flow. Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail,
Yay!
Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot.
Damn straight. No, if there's an edge, Flow got a Best International Film nomination as well, so it's a double nominee. Where if that's some juice, they can give Flow. Where do you give it the win? You know, if it's here, if it's not, I haven't seen the other international nominees yet, but like, is it a double winner? Because then then you send the Wild Robot home empty-handed. So
it's a dark again. One of those dark horses that's been picking up steam. Jeff York and I did a episode on the Flow because we both were just such uber fans of it. We gushed about it, and the thing is, now it's getting discovered by more people. Just hit streaming more so than others, so it is gaining some of that steam. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I suspect, again, I'll do my official prediction show in a week before the Oscars, but I suspect Wild Robot out of this. But the dark horse, the surprise could be Flow. As good as Inside Out was with the Pixar pedigree, it is a sequel. For what?
But it's third best. Tops.
It's the third best out of all of these. But any one of these, all of these films here are fantastic.
And I love Memoir of a Snail so much. I just think it's absolutely adorable. And this is one of the things I'm so very, very happy that it's up for nomination.
And it's good to finally see see this category get beefed up. We've had this the last couple of years now with animated films where even though there's a Pixar or Disney film in there, it's not theirs to win anymore. Where it's not obvious. It used to be. Admit it, even 5 years ago, it was like, oh, there it is.
It's like the old they call it in basketball, they call it the dream team effect. Like when we sent all those NBA All-Stars in 1992 and smoked every nation in basketball because you brought Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Like everybody else everyone who got their asses handed to them raised their game, and look at international basketball now. Like they've all rose to meet the greatness that is the America. So to see Pixar, all the other companies go, well, why can't we compete here? Why not? And they start just getting attention, putting quality into their work. The diversity of nominees here, like you said, between Flow being a very low budget international thing, you've got good old fashioned claymation with Wallace and Gromit, the Wild Robot doing its own thing. I know that counts as a big studio, but it's not a Pixar one. And then Memoir of a Snail. There's always a little engine that could, and it's just a perfect spread of 5.
It is.
Despicable Me 4 is not in there. Fucking Transformers isn't in there. It's a good clean field.
I think I'm gonna watch Wallace and Gromit today because that's the only one of this category that I haven't seen.
And it's this is one of those where I'm as much as I enjoyed the two that you mentioned, Don. These are the ones that I think are more Oscar worthy. In all honesty,
Agreed.
They were entertaining. Don't get me wrong. Transformers 1 was actually one of the better Michael Bay produced Transformer films because he produced it. But I liked it. It ranked in there. It's in there with the Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast. I like that section of the Bayformers and not anything since the first one personally. But it surprised me. But this group here, I'm like, this is an Oscar group of animated films right here. That's a classy group. It's a very classy group. And then animated short film, I haven't seen any of these, so I can't.
That's the dartboard categories here. Yeah, they'll collect them for us in something we can see for press, which would be a nice thing. Jeff York's really good at this, by the way. He'll run through all the docs and animated shorts, and he'll be a good guest in your future prognostication show.
And for this as well, I know occasionally the Marcus Studios do run it occasionally where they'll do a day where they've got all of the nominees. Right. Now that they've been announced, it'll probably be a couple of weeks. They'll have it where, hey, you want to come in the afternoon and see all the shorts? They'll play the short, which I might actually catch because I always like animation, especially with short films.
But I don't recognize a name or because sometimes, Pixar's been stopping doing their shorts where they used to have an automatic nominee here too, but not lately.
Lately, no. Cinematography: The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. Dune, I again, not doing my prediction show right now, but I haven't seen The Brutalist yet, but yeah.
Everyone creams their shorts because they shoot the Statue of Liberty upside down. I'm like, stop it. That's not cinematography. That's a fucking whip in a pan. Stop.
Yeah.
It's nice cinematography. It's not the best cinematography. But you're going to see The Brutalist and people lose their minds in the first 5 minutes.
I'm actually surprised that Emilia Perez is nominated for cinematography.
Yeah, same. I think this should be Nickel Boys in the first person POV.
Yeah, definitely. Nickel Boys was robbed of this.
No.
I don't.
Even Challengers has an argument to be here. The way they shoot sports in a different way. I would have put Challengers here too.
Yeah. I for me, it's I haven't seen Emilia Perez, but just knowing what I know about that film, that is a surprise that this is in the cinematography category. When Nickel Boys, what they did with that film was pretty damn impressive, and the work they did, putting the audience in basically the lives of these two gentlemen in Nickel Boys. I'm like, wow, that's a way to get your emotional impact going, putting people in that position. And then doing it well to where you can tell what's going on, which you can see. It's not a lot of shaky cam. You could see what was going on. And they do some cool mirror shots and all kinds of things.
Cool.
So,
Conclave could be has an argument here.
Gorgeous. Conclave.
Yeah, like no offense to Maria. Ed Lockman's a great cinematographer. Cinematographer. Like that's Todd Haynes' specialty there. But like Conclave or Maria,
you get that shot, that wide shot of the chamber where they're voting, and the way it's symmetry and everything, and then the hallway and everything with that cinematography in that film.
Perfect.
Well, and when they're coming in with the white umbrellas, that is like, just take a shot of that and like let me hang it on my wall. Like that's beautiful.
So that's telling. And then no, I mean, again, no one respects horror. It's not going to win, but Nosferatu looks great.
Oh yeah,
Nosferatu I think may have. I don't know. Here? It depends on if they're just gonna, ride the Brutalist and all this stuff. But honestly, Nosferatu and Dune Part 2 should be in the leads with this.
Greg Fraser's legit.
Emilia Perez, Maria actually is very. I mean, it does have some great work, but I think there are other films that did much better.
Yeah. So that's a surprise. There's a couple snubs there. Costume design, A Complete Unknown. Just what I saw from the trailer, they replicated a lot very well.
You did.
Conclave.
Perfect.
Yeah. Gladiator. Nosferatu. Wicked. No surprises here whatsoever with costume.
Is there anything missing? I'm a Beetlejuice man, but that's just me.
Beetlejuice.
It's cheesy, but it's like I don't know what you replace. I guess maybe you've been there, done that with Rose and Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2, yeah.
Rogue Party or Beetlejuice Party,
The thing with Beetlejuice is what's getting ignored, and you'll see it on the 4K or the release if you watch all the extras. They do a little special featurette on one of the extras where they feature all the behind the scenes, the minor characters and the work that they put into all of the minor background people when you're
the lobby,
the
Soul
land
Train,
the Soul Train, the lobby, and the costume that they did there, just in the background for those people. It is a surprise that it's not on here. I mean, I know it's a crowded field, but I would have taken that over Gladiator because.
Even A Complete Unknown,
because
just a little bit.
Well, Complete Unknown is capturing the period, and if they do it well, I can see why that's in there. Gladiator, I can't, because there wasn't really anything inspiring with their costume.
Not anything that you haven't seen 22 years ago when the first one came out. So, for me, it's degree of difficulty where I'll put Beetlejuice ahead of just matching the 60s.
Yeah. So that's a surprise. Beetlejuice isn't in there, and then
so here, this is like. I always say this, like they don't. There's no business doing 10 Best Picture nominees. Just do 5.
And
then where are the real ones? Kind of, sort of, you follow this category, and that's who they think is real. And
so Honora for Sean Baker, The Brutalist, Brady Colbert, The Complete Unknown, James Mangold, Amelia Perez, Jacques Audiard, and The Substance, Corley. Yeah, good to see The Substance on here.
Yeah, it's a legit nominee.
She deserves it. She freaking earned the hell out of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not saying she didn't earn it. I am I'm happy to see it on the list. It surprises me considering some of the other films that were out there with big directors.
Yeah. No, Denis Villeneuve. What?
That's the one that I feel like really got snubbed. I blame Warner Brothers. They should have had a re-release. I think Amelia Perez is a fine movie, but I think Denis Villeneuve did a better job in Dune 2.
Yeah, it's probably Mangold's spot 2, where Mangold, no one's talking about the direction of A Complete Unknown. They're talking about costumes, they're talking about performances. They're not really going oh, that's a fantastically directed movie. I think another person who's got a case there is Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys. That, to get that POV, look in the camera, show me this, show me that. That's a director's movie, where that deserves to be there. But it's also, like I said, that's kind of what matters in the field and contenders wise. Yeah, I think with this being such a loose year of no juggernaut, I think I'll call it now. I wonder if we'll see a split between picture and director. Sometimes, a lot of times they pair, but I think they'll split it this year. If you see Brutalist,
split a lot more over the years than before. But
if you see Brutalist win picture, maybe Ferget wins Substance for director, or if Amelia Perez wins picture, maybe Brady Corbett gets director. I think the split is real this year. I don't see a juggernaut here of 8 wins, nothing crazy like that.
So, documentary feature film. Haven't seen.
I have thoughts here too.
Any of these, but if you have, please weigh in, because I'm not too familiar with any of these. In all honesty,
Sugarcane is on Hulu. Yep. Watch it. I love it. It is something. It's a film that I feel like should be played in schools. It is regarding generational abuse in the indigenous communities. When the governments would take the children of indigenous communities and put them in, boarding schools, and it is so well done. So I did a review it on Neon Movie Bunker, and honestly, it was hard for me to talk about because it is just so it's just
subject.
It's like Spotlight, but in indigenous. And it has it's so much in common with Spotlight, but it's just the generational abuse that's happened. Some grandparents talking about that. Then that happened. I could just go on. It's hard for me to talk about because it really, really is moving, and I'm so glad that it got nominated for the Oscar, because that's one of those things. I was really worried about that.
With what's not in the field, I think it's the front runner this year, because I'm convinced Oscars hate popular documentaries, because Won't You Be My Neighbor didn't get a nomination when it's the overwhelming public favorite of documentaries, and it's brilliant. Apollo 11 didn't get one. Remembering Gene Wilder didn't get one. The big studio backed popular the ones that make the widest release for some reason missed this field in the last 10 years, because this year you've got cases for Superman, Christopher Reeve story, music by John Williams, Will and Harper on Netflix. There's 3 big legit.
Will and Harper didn't get nominated.
There's 3 legit big contenders with big backing. You got Spielberg producing music by John Williams. You have Christopher fucking Reeve that everyone adores being set up well in Superman. And then you have Will Ferrell, who's a Hollywood favorite that you can't get a sniff in this category. I don't know who these voters are every year, and no offense to like I said, the films like Sugarcane and Daughters and what's up there, but they just piss on, or throw the public a bone. Give us one documentary we've actually heard of, or at least that the general public can go find. Because just give us one. It doesn't have to win, but you can't leave Fred Rogers out of the documentary field. You can't leave Christopher Reeve out of the documentary field. You can't leave John Williams honoring Hollywood in Hollywood off the documentary field. Come on. Yeah, I got thoughts.
You got some thoughts.
Yeah, but it's a fine category though. Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat is well regarded. What else is in there? Because I missed the screen before, but
Porcelain War.
two-horse race there, Soundtrack and Sugar Cane. The other three are out of fucking nowhere. No offense. We get a lot of documentary emails. I even don't know those three movies.
Yeah. No Other Land I've actually heard so much about. I don't know what the Black Box Diaries is at all. This is the first time I'm reading that. And I don't know Porcelain War either. Yeah, there actually was a documentary regarding the Jonestown massacre that was very well done, that actually had the video where they took and that was last year, and it was the first time I'd seen anything like that, where they had all the crew, a significant amount of the survivors from the camera crew and that went to Jonestown, and like all the recordings, hearing Jim Jones talk right before how they were able to save that, and how that it was amazing. That boggles my mind, but that was an extremely well done documentary regarding that horrific historic event. And I don't feel like it got enough attention or love and stuff like that. But again, look, I'm happy that Sugarcane, and in my mind, and Sugarcane,
I think the other two I've heard, like from our voting group, because we cover documentaries in CIC and Chicago Indie Critics. Dahomey and Daughters got a lot of love and a lot of votes and places in our group. Both of those are not represented here either. So I know documentaries are a wide, untapped field for many people. Like, I could quit my job doing new release films today and still review 3 documentaries a week all year long. Like, the field is wide and untapped. But come on, don't Christopher Reeve. Put the tissue boxes back in the Oscars, damn it. You know? Give us one. Give us regular public people one. Us plebeians.
Give you one so people don't check out during this and go get their popcorn.
They're going to. Like, you will guarantee, like, this is the easiest guarantee in the world. Oscar viewership will drop 40 to 50% this year, period, because no one in red state America on a Sunday night on ABC is going to watch the transgender Hispanic movie. I'm sorry, but like, it does not have the pull that Red State Oppenheimer does and Lovely Barbie does. Like, no one's going to watch this fucking show. And especially the stars stay away because of California. Like, if they all kind of say, hey, it's not the time to honor these nominees. I'm happy there's people winning. I'll send a representative, or, you know, on behalf of Anthony Hopkins, I'm going to present this award. Like, if half of the stars skip this night and it's these nominees that no one's seen, because no one in red state American middle Tennessee is going to watch 3 hours and 20 minutes of The Brutalist to get fucked in the ass by Guy Pearce. It's just not going to happen. So it's a tough year. It's a gap year. And I don't mean it that badly, but like, and I don't mean to besmirch middle America, but we live in it. And I just know the crowd. No one's going to watch this shit.
No, when you're talking about viewership, it's different than people looking for the award. So
I know, but when you have some populist stuff there, you can at least carry some favor. I'm not saying every year has to be Titanic. I'm not saying you need to nominate Deadpool and Wolverine for Best Picture, even though Disney campaigned for it. But you have to. Is Demi Moore enough of a story to get people to watch? Is Adrian Brody enough of a story to get people to watch? It probably isn't. Timothy Chalamet is not going to be a big enough red carpet presence just in a pre-show to see him 2 times on camera. You didn't bring Zendaya, like you got nothing tonight. And who's hosting? Is it Conan O'Brien? That's not enough,
Yeah.
So it'll be 40% drop guaranteed.
Is Challengers nominated for anything?
Zero. No editing, no score, no acting, no writing, no nothing.
Score?
Luca Guadagnino, Queer, got nothing either. Full shutout for his 2 films this year. Full shutout.
Wow. I
not
mean,
score, not editing.
Queer I had some issues with. And honestly, Challengers wasn't in my top 20 either.
No, but
it definitely had like score and song and editing. I thought actually it had definitely had some highlights that should have been. Wow, I'm very surprised regarding that.
Mm-hmm. You'll see that song category, and there's holes there too. You'll see.
Oh, that's actually the bane of my existence right now.
Yeah, she's gonna sound worse than I did for Docs.
Documentary short film. See any of these?
I have not. Those are dartboards for me too.
Instrument of Beating Heart, Incident, I'm Ready, Warden, and Death by Numbers. just by the titles alone, I can tell that'll be an evening if I do try to watch those. If they're online somewhere, I'll need some alcohol.
I feel like Only Girl in the Orchestra is on either Netflix or Disney. I feel like I've seen that somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard about that's the only one name that seems very familiar. So editing.
That's never enough though. They pick the most obscure shit in documentary feature and in documentary short. There's no front runners there. Vegas has odds and they lose me every year. I try to go to Vegas to look up the odds like in those categories where somebody has a line on it that I can't guess. And I still lose,
I usually get those. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting a feeling regarding this title, and then I get it. I'm like,
I need to eat what you're eating for breakfast. Let me tell you what. Okay, editing.
What?
I don't want to be an asshole, but I'll be the asshole.
No, by all means.
1, 2, 3. 3 of the 5 nominees are longer than 2 hours and 20 minutes. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry, man. Especially The Brutalist. No. And then Wicked, I'm not saying Wicked is an incoherent mess, but it's shot like a comic book film. And I don't know if that's always the nicest way of editing those things. I think it's a wondrous production and it moves really well. And to split what it's going to split into 2 movies, there's editing there. Don't get me wrong, but degree of difficulty wise, you got to go someplace other than these here. I would take, because of that perfect framing that we talked about, I would love Conclave here.
Yeah,
but it's the slightest. It's the best editing, but it's the slightest editing, which means it's not going to carry favor here. So
in Nickel Boys again snubbed.
Perfect example.
Dune 2.
Yes.
I mean, again,
it's long too, but it's cut a hell of a lot better than these movies.
It surprises me that Amelia Perez is in here over Dune 2 because Dune 2, if nothing else, I figured would have been showing up more in the technical aspect.
Exactly, which doesn't make any sense right now.
I haven't seen Amelia Perez, but just the type of film that I read that it is and that I've gotten from everybody when I've talked to, I'm like, it's in more technical groupings than I thought it would be.
It's in technical groupings that it should not be in. I do not think it was in the top 5 of.
No way, not in this.
No.
I would throw a bone. It got 1 nomination in screenplay, which was really cool because I like it. And John Robinson on Neon Bunker loves it. September 5th, telling that story, studio staying in that bottle movie of a movie and making a day's worth of peril move in less than 2 hours with that ABC News stuff. That's a well edited movie that deserves to be here.
That is an excellently edited movie, and I mean, it takes. I
got one more for you. Keep going there.
It should have been nominated for Best Picture as well. If I had been able to see it last year, it would have been in my top 10. And it really says a lot about a film when you know what's going to happen. At the
you're still on edge.
Yeah, it's because this is a historical event, but you're still like, you still have hope, and you still like, and it's like, what? I mean, it's like me watching the Titanic. It's like, yeah, no, it's okay. The ship's gonna be all right. It's fine.
Right.
It's like,
it gives you hope.
This is all good. It's like, no, this actually happened. It's like, so September 5th. Yeah.
Have you seen it, Mark?
I wanted to see September 5th. I've heard something. I didn't know out of another one, a quiet one that didn't have a huge amount of campaign.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Studio again. Yeah.
Mentioning it. You know what?
I got one more editing one. Saturday night.
If I may first is Saturday night.
Saturday night. You got it.
Where is Saturday night? You watch that film and it's capturing that real-time feel, and it's got so much going on in that film. It is crazy to try to
they shot 4 hours of shit there and had to get it to 90 and make it work. They had to.
Oh, crazy. Where is that? Because that film, if nothing else for editing, is amazing because you feel Lorne Michaels' tension through that whole film. You're moving with him constantly. You're jumping multiple characters constantly in locations and got to match that up and still keep it riveting.
Right.
For basically a startup of a show, and they do that, and it is nowhere in here.
No. And like when you think about all the pieces and parts, like you got to editing. Like obviously, you're taking what was filmed and you have to make it work. But like you have to cross every T and dot every I. Like costumes have to match. Like make it past the match. Not that all these movies can't do that. Like making the pickups and making things match. But like when you're flying at 90 minutes. That degree of difficulty, like I said in other categories, like no offense to putting the camera nice and still in Conclave, but I think Conclave, like I said, going with the framing, going close, far, the threads, the timing, when do you want to slow mo, when do you want to pull back, like Conclave again, not flashy but sharp, like razor sharp. Versus, is Wicked excessive when you could probably tie that up in one movie in 3 hours, not in 2 movies in 3 hours? And then you'll see The Brutalist, and I'm gonna fucking laugh at you in this category. Oh, you're gonna edit that movie with a hatchet. Jesus, fuck
yeah. Dune 2 was robbed. It should have been nominated.
Dune 2.
Who knows? Maybe all the stuff that's not there for Saturday night, they're just waiting to put in the Milton Berle biopic that J.K. Simmons is going to star in. So
big dick energy for sure. There,
big, huge HDE right there.
I would so be at first in line for that. When he showed up as that, I'm like, wait, is J.K. played? Oh my God, he is.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Well, and that's one of those moments where it's like, I don't say, holy shit, why did I never see this? Like, kudos to you, casting people. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not too old for that part. Like, it would have been right where Milton was in his 60s. Yeah, that's about right. Like, but yeah, the smile, the body language, and then of course the assholery is off the charts. So good.
Isn't this the year where they added the casting category? Or
I don't believe so.
No, that's next year. Because this year it would have been Saturday night, because the casting they did for Saturday night, there was really nobody else except maybe a complete unknown, but there was nobody else even close. I mean, their principal comedians they picked to Matt, that was freaking Billy Crystal on screen. It wasn't, but that looked like freaking Billy Crystal.
The voice inflection. Where do you you're sitting in a mirror for hours to figure that out?
Look,
it's so distinct.
I didn't necessarily think the actor looked like Billy Crystal, but I closed my eyes and I could not hear anyone else but Billy Crystal.
Same thing with Dylan O'Brien.
Amazing.
As Aykroyd. Aykroyd has a speech cadence that no one can match, and Dylan O'Brien's out there nailing it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that. Yeah. It's not in here. So now we move on to international feature.
Here you go, Flo. This is loaded category.
Still here, The Girl with the Needle, Amelia Perez. The Seed of the Sacred Fig, which I've heard good things. I've got the screener upstairs. I'm going to watch it this weekend. And Flow, which, I'm glad to see an animated film in there with international.
Yeah. This is what wrinkles part of the race. Like when Amelia Perez comes in with 13 nominations, leading the field, you would think, oh, that's a Best Picture frontrunner. Not when this fallback category exists, because this is what happened to Roma. Roma had 11 nominations, I think maybe even 12. Roma had 10, 11, 12 nominations, and it won this and lost picture because it's great representation and it does the artful things that it does. But like, this is the place where you can give it the best of something and still go award the other thing you need to elsewhere. Right. Like if Amelia Perez, I don't know if we've seen, I don't think there's ever been a double winner, has there? Like, All Quiet on the Western Front got this and not picture last year. Crouching Tiger won this and not picture its year. I don't know if we've ever had a double winner.
Did the
Michael
Postman? Not the Postman.
No, Amelie, the artist. Maybe the artist was a double winner here.
I
don't know if it was foreign language though. I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Postino or something like that. I wasn't
but
sure.
It's been a while. Not like double, not picture. Like it didn't win both. I don't think anything's won both. No way.
I don't think so. Let's see.
Maybe The Last Emperor in '87 because it's technically a Taiwanese Chinese film.
Oh, here we are.
What do you got?
Parasite.
Okay, that's of course. That's the
it won Best Picture.
It won both, didn't it?
It was the only one that won both.
That's wild. Is Amelia Perez Parasite level stuff?
No.
Yeah, because Parasite's on BBC lists at this point. It's best of the century list.
But I think if Flow doesn't win Best animated, then it would win best feature, best international feature.
Which also
and if it does win best animated, then Emilia Perez will win best international feature. I do want to warn you. Here. Yeah, I do want to warn you, Mark, when you see the Sacred Fig, just prepare yourself, because there's a lot of rough stuff in that film.
Yeah, no, I've heard there's rough stuff in it, but I've heard a number of people talk about it.
Yeah.
That in a positive manner, but they just say it's rough. No, I figured I watch rough stuff. You know,
you do. You're brave.
I watch some rough stuff.
You're brave.
Really? Hey, I don't need your Pornhub history.
No,
knock it off, buddy. Yeah.
Makeup and hairstyling, not a big surprise here. A Different Man, Emilia Perez, Nosferatu.
See, just like Emilia Perez again. You know, I'm a Beetlejuice man.
No, honestly, I agree. I think Beetlejuice had a lot of makeup in there that honestly should have been recognized more. And I don't see that Emilia Perez was it's
what are you trying to say? Are you trying to make a trans girl look prettier? I don't want to be that guy to say it like that, but like that's why it's there. You know, like I hate to say that, but
Emilia Perez, I mean, just from what I saw from just Beetlejuice or Dune 2 alone.
Dune 2!
The makeup and hair, again, technical
degree difficulty, volume of work.
Normally, that would normally win a technical category.
Outright.
Like, when you watch them, you just like, okay, it's not going to be up for any of the big ones, but it's going to hit the technical. You look at Beetlejuice and how much physical and practical effects they use in that film compared to any other genre movie that came out last year. It's insane. And to not even be breathed upon? Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This unfortunately feels like the Substance's consolation prize. Like this is the one spot, which is, you know, it's a bummer because like Different Man is like the whale, you know, like you have one really good makeup work that's above and beyond everything else, but in a small, slight film. So, but the Substance, if Demi Moore doesn't win, this is the one spot it gets. So,
Dune 2. Come on.
Okay. I don't know. I think that even if Demi Moore, I think this category, I think this is it's the Substance is by far the clear winner in this.
It has to be.
And, I mean,
which is crazy. Like other than Emilia Perez, this is like amazing field. Like the transformation in A Different Man, the volume of work in Wicked, Nosferatu, Bill Skarsgård looks great.
Yeah.
Even Simon, what's the guy who plays the Harbinger? Like Simon Burney, like even he looks great with makeup. Like everybody looks good, but what a field, you know?
Yeah, I know it's hard, but it is surprising me to see. And again, I haven't watched it, but just knowing what type of film it is, seeing Emilia Perez in so many technical categories is surprising the heck out of me, because that's the type of film it seems like. Yeah, it's going to be in your mainstream, your big popular drama categories, but to see it in the technical stuff is surprising me.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Score. I know.
Pisses me off.
I know these. I didn't watch Emilia Perez, but I've got the screener listening for the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
But still, Dune 2 is not in Dune 2.
No. So here's the thing that confuses me regarding the score out of all these nominees.
Okay.
Wicked is a stage play, and I did not think that anything regarding any of the music was original at all.
Exactly.
So that's why it's like seeing this original score for it, I was like,
or like copy my homework, but don't make it too close, right? Like it's a beautiful score, but
it's a beautiful score, but I feel like I heard it 3 times before I saw the movie, because that's what was in the play. I mean, that's what's in the musical on stage.
It's like Taylor writing her own versions of old songs.
Yeah, I mean,
it's surprising that it's there, considering none of the vocal songs qualify.
Well, none of them are original.
Because none of them are original. They're all from the musical.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't take advantage and add a new song
Yeah.
like other films have done. Like when these Disney reimaginings come out, they throw a bone of a brand new song to go with all the old classics and lengthen the movie. I'm surprised Wicked didn't do that just to get an easy Oscar.
Yeah.
Get Cynthia on stage to sing an original song. Oh my God, come on.
I mean, it's just surprising Wicked is on here because while there is score music, most of the music is vocal music from the stage play. The filler music is variations of that music. It
doesn't seem we've seen bigger scores with lesser technicalities miss this because of the adapted category. Like what was it, Carter Burwell and True Grit had like one religious song as a motif in one piece of the score and it was completely disqualified. Like I don't know what they're doing here. And then Amelia Perez, can you tap your toe to that score? I sure can't.
I can't even think now. I mean,
it's a musical film.
Some of the songs, at least one, I think I can see.
Especially when we get to that field of what's missing. Too.
I think had better. Challengers definitely had better. Baby Girl. Yeah, had better. That was one of the things I loved about Baby Girl was the score. But
even the substance for score, like you've got stuff there. Brutalist deserves to be there. It's a big, flashy, bossy score. Conclave, Volker, that's a very fine score.
Yes.
And of course, I love the Wild Robot to pieces. So like that.
Yeah, I do too. I'm glad to see it on there.
But watch it lose. Because of the night of everything else. Watch it lose. You know.
Oh, and original song. I'm not familiar with any of these, but Amelia Perez has two of them in there. El Mal and
Split Your Own Vote.
Me Camino. Then you have The Journey. From the 6888, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, and Never Too Late, Elton John.
What's missing?
So
Will and the song from Will and Harper.
Can't even get a doc nominee, so it's not going to get a song nominee. What else is missing?
That breaks my heart because that, to me, of all the songs that came out this year in a film, that is what a best song is. That is all about the film.
Yeah,
it's not just a. I saw a movie. Song. I wrote this song that kind of goes with like this is a song that it just encompasses everything that's about the film, and it's catchy and it's clever and I mean it's that song category always makes me mad.
What else is missing? Kiss the Sky, Wild Robot.
Yeah,
that's right.
Included in the film, perfect inclusion, not an end credit song. Touching moment. Yep. Like and again in a night where you can't get viewers and families to want to watch. Like I'm not saying it's Frozen. I'm not saying you're going to get Idina Menzel to come on the stage, but
you
get Maren Morris up there, a popular country music star, to sing on your Oscar night. Like it'd be nice, but you're going to get Elton John.
You could replace one of the Amelia Perez nominations with the Wild Robot song easily.
I think you could replace the Diane Warren song with any song. I mean, look,
15. She's Susan Lucci at this point.
I get it.
You're the best.
I mean, I have not seen it. It's like between Wallace and Gromit and what is it, the 3068? I'm going to watch those two on Netflix. But the fact is, when she was nominated for that year with the song with Mila Kunis and Glenn Close, I was like, what is happening? One, no one saw that movie and they didn't need to. Two, that song did not need to be nominated. Like Diane Warren, you are amazing. Don't get me wrong. I think you've done some incredible songs.
Absolutely.
But this is becoming one of those things like, come on, man.
It's embarrassing at this point.
Yeah, this isn't like, no offense. And I know this is not going to get nominated, but I loved the song from Argyle that Boy George and Adriana DeBose sang. As soon as I got done, I went home. I couldn't get it out of my head. I loved that it was throughout the film. I loved that it was in the end credits. I even had members that we know. We talked about it. It's like, that song was hot, man. Yeah. It's like, that was one of the best things about the movie. I'm like, it was.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's one of those things. Like, this is stuff that. But yeah, I just. I'm
a Your Monster guy. I know that's a micro tiny film, but like that's a musical moment in a big song that tells your entire movie and sums the whole thing up. Like no one's going to nominate that song. But we talked about Pamela Anderson before. You could have put Miley Cyrus on stage singing the song from The Last Showgirl?
Yeah. I thought that would have been a given. Like,
you want Miley Cyrus on that stage? Come on.
I mean, well, and just like everything about the song, again, goes with the film. Like, it's just beautifully like tells the story of that film. But again, what?
I know.
Yeah, well, they're not going to do the performances of the best songs this year for the broadcast. You didn't hear that?
Surprise.
No.
You didn't hear that? Yeah, I saw the headline. I saw the headline a day or two ago, just before the nominations. They said that they are cutting out the performances of Best Original Song for the show.
Well,
I've said this.
I mean, with these nominees, that's fine by me. But before this, I would have been disappointed.
I think Kitty and we talked about this in our Oscar show last year when we were trying to come up with ideas to shorten what has always been too long of a show. And I'm going to take the wrestling model, do a 2-night thing like you do WrestleMania. Do one night. That's all the put all the arts and tech in one night. Cap it off with like the kids, like the top movie nominees in non-top 7 fields. Like end the night with best international feature, best animated film, best documentary. Put those big bests at the end of the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania or Oscarmania, and then save, if you need your stars, save all the top 7 acting categories, and then just because it's the stuff that people like to watch, put score and song as the artistic part of the acting night too, because then you've got score and song in 7 categories of actors and directors and screenplays, the big 7, and then you put everything else on night 1. Still have a fun host, lighten it up, do casual red carpet, do the sneaker stuff, like lighten up night 1. Bring all your glamour you want for the big stars and the top 7 and the big music and the big performances on night 2, and you've got a 2-night Oscars that double your ratings, double your advertising revenue, double the nights you sell commercial spots, and you would take away a laborious 4-hour show.
Yeah,
the way they did with wrestling. Like you can't sit at all. You can't cheer for 6 hours in a stadium watching WrestleMania. No, you can cheer 2 nights for 3 hours. You know.
You can. So we're gonna jump through here. We still have a few categories.
All right.
Got about a half hour here or so, but
okay.
But not a big surprise here for production design.
Finally, Dune 2.
The Brutalist Conclave. Hey, Dune 2 finally made it on here. Nosferatu and Wicked. I think this is pretty much a given nominations for what you've seen. The only thing that I would say is replace. I haven't seen
one
list. I've seen Conclave, and as much as I love Conclave, I would have liked to see Beetlejuice. Again.
Yeah.
I honestly would. The production,
I would have
work they put in all the sets and everything.
How they recreated the Vatican without being in the Vatican, and then obviously how you recreate the Sistine Chapel without being in the Sistine Chapel. Like, Conclave is pretty good.
Yeah. I was ignorant.
What do I get rid of here?
It's like they just let them film in there.
I thought though too, but no, it's all sound
stages.
Yeah.
Then I found out that it's like, oh no, they had to. I'm like, crazy. Damn. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Maybe I take away.
I guess I can see why Beetlejuice isn't in here, but again, I haven't seen The Brutalist, but that's a crowded category.
It's a movie about an architect, which means production design looks pristine.
Right.
I don't care for it, but it's one pretty library and then a bunch of dirt you can't build. Stop it.
Look, out of all the categories that we've gone through, honestly, I think production design is I'll drop the microphone. You guys did good. Like, well done. I think this is the best category right now.
Yeah.
Oh, in terms of like the choices they made?
Yeah. I think
on the field.
I think
it's perfect.
That's the most solid category of choices that we've gone through.
All deserving.
Yeah. We have like our 6th and our 7th, but that's 5 there are.
This is one of those crowded fields, like a couple of years ago when it was the best supporting actress, and you looked at it and go, those were 5 solid picks, but you could have put any of like 8 performances, any combination in there. So this is that one category this year that there are a lot of work put into films this year, production design.
I know we said it earlier, if there's an acting category where you could have went 10 deep and still found winners, not just nominees. Katie and I are right, is best supporting actress or supporting actor, because you got Clarence Meglin, you got Denzel Washington, you have like one where you could go 10 deep and have winners, not just nominees.
Yeah.
Well, and even best supporting actors like Danielle Deadwyler in Piano Lesson, Dolly DeLeon in Ghostlight. I mean, there's many. This was a great year of performances. But I do feel like they missed the mark on a number of these categories.
So live action short films, I haven't seen any of these, so
me neither.
I haven't either.
Aline, Anuja, I'm Not a Robot, The Last Ranger.
It's the sequel to The Wild Robot. No, it's not. I'm just
kidding. No, it's not. Yeah, and a man who could not remain silent. I don't know any of those, unfortunately. So
I think it's going to be The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent.
Probably.
I don't know. I don't know what any of these are about. I'm just going with
based off the title. I've done that before.
I'm looking at names because sometimes there's pedigree of like a big filmmaker who steps down to a live action thing, and like Kenneth Browning's made one of these. Like I'm looking for pedigree there, and I don't.
Well, that was his first Oscar he ended up getting for a short. Was that last year? Was Wes Anderson.
Yeah. So sometimes big studs come down there.
So sound, Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez again.
That's Wicked, the musical part, though. You know,
and The Wild Robot. Yeah, that's
the Wild Robot there.
Look, I'm sorry, but for sound, I really think that The Substance should have been nominated for sound and take out Amelia Perez.
Same.
I do like The Wild Robot. No, I
Underrated animation.
Yeah.
Because underrated sound work in those movies. Underrated. Yeah.
Wicked, I'm not necessarily sure that they needed sound for this. I mean,
a volume. Like, it's a big showy thing, so it has all the sound.
Here is, when you come to sound, this is where horror always gets snubbed, because you have some horror films out there that have wonderful sound design that gets totally just ignored. Yeah. I mean, Nosferatu had wonderful sound design, but I'm trying to remember the other horror films because I saw so many last year. But there's just
Red Rooms. Red Rooms.
But there's so many. Horror relies on sound.
I agree.
You
get people talk about I saw the TV glow in a spot like this because sound, like you said, it just in a small native form, it's so necessary to the presentation of the film.
So
for A Complete Unknown, it's there because, well, one, it's the big loud jukebox movie, but also when you hear about like they filmed everything with period era tech as well as period era, like all the instruments, all the microphones, all the speakers. It's period era stuff, which is a degree of difficulty I can only imagine. Because there's so many shortcuts they could do today with Foley and digital stuff. Like, so for them to sit there and do every amp, every mic is a 60s mic. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I would love to get into that just for that.
With Wicked, if the reason why they gave it, I mean, one of the things with Wicked is that you've seen Wicked, right, Mark?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cynthia Erivo, when she does Defying Gravity and the way she made that song that so many people who haven't even seen the musical, anything, the way she made it her own, that sound in that theater, I could see that maybe that right there, just that entire
scene. Big boomer.
That's why.
Yeah.
So,
well, sound in general too, because they recorded on stage with them. They didn't do ADR for Wicked. They recorded
Complete Unknown. Yeah.
So that's why I could see, just like with Complete Unknown. So that's why I could see with sound why it's there is because
it's the two loudest movies. Let's just be that. And then Dune makes all the noise everywhere else on the digital side.
But Dune Part 2 should have been.
Oh, that's right.
Dune, not in there, is it?
There.
Yeah.
No, Dune made this one. Yeah.
Oh, we did make that one. Okay.
Yeah. Dune. This is one of the only ones.
I'm so disappointed. In the technical category. Dune Part 2 got shit on again.
Yeah. So. I think you made it. Is it visual effects here?
And then we go to visual effects. Let's take a look at visual effects. Alien Romulus, Better Man, which I love how Better Man literally eked in because it got limited release in certain cities. It didn't really come out until, just barely made it.
Yeah.
Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked.
An Apes movie has never won this category, and I'm mad because
that is sad. That's
three
sad.
Andy Serkis gems. And then, of course, this one's not going to win because it doesn't even have Andy Serkis. So,
but they still did wonderful. You forget you're looking at mocap people throughout the entire series, all 4 films. You forget these are mocap creatures. They're anthropomorphic. Apes. They're characters. You are not distracted by the effects at all. You're like, that's a talking orangutan. No.
Is that the opposite with Better Man, where like it's so readily apparent that we're just painting on Robbie right now? Like it's probably overdone in a way, or preening, you know?
I do have to say though, I am very, very, very happy, even though I had issues with the script and the film, the fact that Alien Romulus was nominated. That means it is an Oscar nominated film. You can also say that about Suicide Squad,
I know.
which annoys me, but I do think there is a number of aspects of Alien Romulus when they're in space where I'm like, how did they film in space? Because it
collides with the rings.
Like, I mean, so cool. It is gorgeous. But look, I'm Dune 2. I'm Dune Part 2, guys.
This is probably its one win all night.
This is going to be Dune 2's win right here. Probably.
I'm hoping
it goes from 6 to 1. That's stunning to me in a film that universally is more well regarded than the first one. To go from 6 wins to 5 nominations and 1 win probably is
going to be
a little egregious, and that's the March factor, like you said, came out too early.
Writing, adapted screenplay: A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. No surprises.
No surprise. There's no surprises there. Maybe A Complete Unknown. Yeah, I guess it's a book, and they do the nice limited non-birth to death biopic by staying in the one zone of time they do, and it obviously comes off that book. There's something else to win. What was we had CIC nominees that weren't A Complete Unknown and weren't Amelia Perez. What were up on this list?
Was adapted, wasn't it? Substance was adapted, I thought, wasn't it?
No, that's an original, and it's there. Original. Yeah, she got that. There's something we're missing here. An obvious one too, like a big hitter.
Well, wouldn't Dune 2 be adapted if it had been in there?
I guess. Yeah, that'd be adapted for sure.
Adapted.
Yeah.
We're missing one though. I can't. You keep talking. I'm going to get the spreadsheet out.
He's got the spreadsheet.
Oh, we just finished our voting a week ago here.
We just did our awards.
We're through the woods at the Chicago Indie Critics here. Recommendation.
I am very happy that Sing Sing got this nomination.
Me too. After getting
it should have been nominated
a little bit the rest of the night.
Picture.
Yeah.
I like that Conclave. I liked Complete Unknown. You haven't seen that yet, right, Mark?
No, I have not. Okay. But our friends Fowley loved it, I think. I'm not sure how. I forgot how it was, but
Complete Unknown was like my number 6 film of the year. 7.
Yeah. All right, here's some possibilities in adapted that maybe could have knocked on this door. Nosferatu, being based off the foreign film, again, Hollywood honoring Hollywood. Wild Robot, Hitman, got a 0. I know it, but it's an adapted thing to take that new story and turn it into a movie. It's not bad. Conclave's there, right? Yeah. All right. But like Amelia Perez didn't make our nominees. I'm a Fire Inside guy. It's like a sports movie adaptation.
Yes.
Night Bitch is pretty fun. There's some stuff here.
Was adapted.
Yeah. But the big Amelia Perez plus the big stuff's here.
Fire Inside again. Byron Tyree Henry. That was a performance that really should have gotten
actor.
Yeah, he should have gotten supporting actor nom. That
both Nickel Boys.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get that Oscar one of these days because I mean it's just bam. The
right role. Someone's gonna get him.
Mm-hmm. But he should have. I think he's someone else who should have gotten nominated this year.
Agreed.
So yeah, I'm not too familiar with what else was adapted from a screenplay, but I mean this, though it is surprising. Wicked is in here only because it was adapted from a book. No, I'm just kidding. I mean,
No, Wicked's not there. But
I thought you said I was actually going back. It is. God damn it! No shit.
Yeah, Wicked, like half of his play because it's half the movie and show. No.
Yeah.
All right, original. Yeah.
Enormous.
This is nice.
The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5th, and The Substance.
I'm a Challengers guy here from a writing standpoint, like putting that layered back and forth together. I love September 5th being here. That's the little engine that could. A Real Pain deserves to be here. That's a hell of a thing Jesse Eisenberg made. I could give a shit. You know me. I can give a shit about A Brutalist, but I know it's the big hitter and it's going to be here. And Nora, gotta love it. And then, Substance. Good job. This is probably the right 5.
Yeah.
Because everything else is a little, like, everything else is tiny stuff. Like, I'm an Exhibiting Forgiveness guy. I'm a Ghostlight guy. But those movies weren't going to play at this level, and I know it. Saturday Night Live is a fish story that kind of embellishes the truth as an original screenplay. No one was going to give it credit for that. Yeah. Woman of the Hour. That wasn't going to be it. Yeah. No. Hundreds of Beavers for visual effects or this. Like, those movies aren't going to make it into the Oscars. So.
I just love the fact that Hundreds of
Best Sound
was on the short list.
Sure.
Wisconsin and Midwest independent film represent. It's
damn straight.
It's the one that no one, including the makers, ever even thought that their little film could be on a Oscar short list.
Sure.
And the fact that Hundreds of Beavers made it that far warms my
number 10 film.
Yeah. I mean, Lake Michigan Monster, it's years before.
Lake Michigan Monster is wonderful. We
that
showed
sound I'd put there too.
We showed that at the Sawdust City Fright Fest a couple of years ago. It opened our fest. It was a wonderful film.
Damn
wonderful. Hundreds of Beavers is so creative. Yeah. And to even see Oscars breathe on a film like that warms my indie film heart so well, because I'm like, someone at least somewhere was paying attention.
That's right.
So yes, I skipped the big category because I wanted to leave it to last.
So, here it is.
So here we go. Best Picture.
Oh boy.
The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here.
Wow.
Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked.
So I know I have not seen it, but I am surprised that I'm Still Here is nominated for Best Picture.
That's a big leap compared to, I call it a gap year. That's a big leap in this field. Yeah, against everything else, that's a lot of votes to make it over the hill of other things. Because this could have been what? I mean, we say September 5th, but like this could have easily been
Sing Sing.
Yeah, Sing Sing. Like
Sing Sing should have been there. It could have been Sing Sing. It could have been Civil War. It could have been. I mean, Civil War got snubbed with everything. You want to talk about
everything?
Cinematography, original screenplay, all that. Civil War. Best actress, best supporting actress. I mean, there's a number like completely snubbed.
Mm-hmm. This could have been. I mean, this could have been Challengers as a studio level one.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we like Baby Girl, but like, that's not probably Nosferatu could have made this field.
Surprisingly, you guys mentioned it. I forgot because it was earlier in the year. Civil War, the cinematography in Civil War was amazing.
Visual effects.
Civil War's
got some stuff.
Movie.
Well, even either directing or a screenplay. Some of those scenes were so tension filled that it was like, outside of the last 5 minutes of that movie, the rest of it, I was on board completely with it.
Yeah.
It being a very solid film, and to see it that snubbed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kirsten Dunst, there's spots you could pick here.
Jesse Plemons, even for the
small part, but it's a hell of a part.
But knowing that he came in last minute, knowing that they used his scenes for the marketing.
Without him,
how
no one sees that movie.
It was. But I know Kaylee Spaney didn't get a nom for Priscilla last year. I thought after watching Civil War, it's like, oh yeah, no, you definitely are getting a best supporting with this. Kirsten Dunst, she had the best supporting nom for
Hidden Figures?
Not Wag the Dog. What is it?
Oh, Power of the Dog.
Power the Dog.
Yeah.
And then seeing this, I thought she would have gotten a nomination. But I mean, I don't know if the reason why she didn't get a nomination is because the same thing with Kate Winslet in Lee. They have like it's like very similar roles and then competing against each other. But awesome, excellent performances. Yeah, but Civil War, again, it's why it didn't get the accolades it should have. And again, it's April. It came out early, but re-push it. I know when we did our award show, that was when I really pushed. Yeah.
I feel like this is I know he did the whole follow the money thing with Netflix and campaign finance reform earlier, but like this is a place where there's some too big for your britches stuff that happens at the same time of people trying to be contenders when maybe they can't swing that way. A24 is one of them, where A24 has A Real Pain, Sing Sing, Civil War. They almost have different man. They have too many contenders to really back all the way. Where don't get me wrong, A24 mails us all really nice things, but that's a critic's thing. I don't know if they go out of their way as so much as the other studios do for the screenings and the LA the voter screenings in LA and New York. Like I don't know if A24 does the swag and does the paper marketing, but they don't do the screening marketing like the other studios do. And you have to get a butt in a seat more than a butt on a page to get the vote around here. So A20, I mean, don't get me wrong, it worked for A24 for Everything Everywhere All at Once a couple years ago, but like that was like the one big contender they backed. They kind of almost need to do kind of like what Netflix does is, I know you have 5 horses, but maybe you need to choose one and full court press the one.
Yeah.
And I thought this year that should have been Sing Sing. And for Sing Sing to get like 3 nominations when it probably should have got 8, like it could have got a little more than what it got. Or maybe it got 5, and it should have got 6 or 7. But like when you see it missing in some places, that's a bummer. Yeah. And again, but this is me favoring the campaign finance reform of A24 throw more money at it. What are you doing? When I'm saying, hey, stop throwing money in the market. But it's
where you throw your money though. You've got a great point.
True.
Where they
and that's money, because we said the same thing with like why Dune moved. Like that's Warner Brothers saying I'd rather put my money on Barbie than Dune this year, and let's go put my money on Dune next year. And it looked good for a while, but then like Katie said, you got to put it back in there in October, November. And put your money back out there again. You can say, "Oh, it's on HBO Max," but no, you got to say, "No, why to watch it?" Put me. And they tried some campaigning. I got those emails for some October, November screenings where like they brought Timothée Chalamet out to introduce these things, or they put Hans Zimmer in front of some people. Like they tried a little bit, clearly not enough, and not like that Barbie push a year ago. So
no, and that's I mean. With Barbie, since it came out in July, you still have that push going into award season and everything. With Dune, they dropped the ball. There's no reason why this shouldn't be the front runner. Sing Sing, I love Sing Sing. I saw it in May. It didn't come out until August, and we kind of have to hold. It's like I tell people to see it. It's like, oh, what did you think? It's like, I can't necessarily tell you why because it's going to come out. But I was talking about it yesterday to a patient. It's like, what should we watch? I'm like, find Sing Sing. Sing Sing is one of my favorite films of the year. It has been since I watched it. I love the performances. I knew right away, Coleman Domingo, bam, front runner for the Oscar. Then Brutalist, then Timothy and Nyla. But still, I knew he was going to get nominated. But that is a film, didn't get the accolades it deserved. Civil War didn't get an accolades it deserves. April is a weird time. I think actually April's a weirder time for stuff to come out than January and February, honestly, because
summer comes in and smashes everything. Yeah.
It's like you may have something and then it's like, what was
well, you run out of theaters because again, like Twist, Fall Guy is going to take 6 screens out of 10 at a multiplex,
and it's big surprise. I know the manager well at our theater here in town because we only have one theater.
Right.
I know her well. We've talked many years. She's moved up. She's the regional manager now for Rogers or whatever, but she's still there and we talk and that's where learn bits and pieces about the theatrical business.
Yeah.
And some of these movies, the reason they're on screen for so long is because that's the agreement the studios have with being able to show the big movie on the screen. They are required by contract to keep them in, which also means that the bigger studio who pushes that is pushing the littler films that you could put on a screen for a week. You can't, because you've agreed to Disney.
You've deadlocked it.
Deadpool Wolverine's going to be a big film. You have to have that film on for 8 weeks. Oh, yeah. 6 of those weeks, it's going to be on your mega screen.
Right. They've been Disney especially has been remaking those deals very selfishly and advantageously for themselves since The Force Awakens in 2015.
Right.
I remember hearing about those deals where like Disney said, hey, like they started, it's not just screen length, it's dollar cut. Like it used to be 50-50. Disney starts to flex a little 60-40 where no. Give me 60 of that Star Wars money. You keep 40. And then the studios or then theaters like, what the fuck? You know, it's been 50 for 60 years. What are you doing? But Disney can, because, well, then fine, you don't get this big money-making movie in your theater. Like Disney holds the cards and they flex it. It's scary. You're right. You've heard right. It's an ugly business. And then guess what? That happens here in FYC too, where like what dominates all the screenings and spots? It's who throws the money out there.
Yeah.
Well, and even the thing is, even when Dune 2 came out, I mean, it was in theaters for a good number of months.
Yeah.
It
Well, they picked March.
Like 4DX. It was in, I mean, it was still like, it's one of the biggest box office films of the year. But again, it had its big run, and then it came out on Max, and people forget about it because that's 9 months ago.
I know.
And it's just, Warner Brothers dropped the ball. I mean, we've been saying this, and I said at the beginning, and I was saying it last year, they should have had it re-released like in December. You have a few weekends when it's like, do the big re-release, to make sure people remember it. And
or you do a little bit of absence away makes the heart grow fonder. I know most of its money was made by the fact that it was in a competitionless March, because there wasn't like a big President's Day hitter last year, like there's going to be this year, like because Captain America: Brave New World is going to slay so much money in February because there's nothing out there. And it's going to have full reign of the theaters for 2 months until April stuff gets here. But then like I know that like Warner Brothers has loved that traditional Oscar opening slot of the first week of October. Argo was there, The Departed was there, A Star is Born opened there, Joker 2 opened there this year, thinking it had prestige. Maybe you make people wait an entire year and you put Dune October 6th. If you put Dune October 6th and Joker goes wherever, you see all of the impact and all the impressions of Dune happening in October instead of March. Completely different race.
Yep.
Especially when in a month it stomps out, or it can go toe to toe against Wicked, which opens in November. So like even Wicked shitting bricks when Dune's sitting in theaters in October. So mismanaged, and it's weird because we're armchair quarterbacking this, and there's probably $1 million arms of marketing departments that can't figure this out as fast as we figured out sitting in fucking basements in the Midwest. Come on.
Well, it's so obvious. If they're looking to hire some folks, I'll be happy to get some of that Hollywood money for a while. Bank that, and then But so there you have it. I think you guys mentioned already some of the snubs you think that have been out there. I think we're all in agreement that it's an odd, weird year for Oscars.
Yeah, I call it a bubble year. I don't know, a gap year. It's weird.
It's one of those years where there really isn't one that has done. Even though Amelia Perez is on here that much, if you're talking about actual buzz amongst film groups and everything, there has not been one definitive film where we're like, this is the one. This is the one.
Yeah. Watch out for that. Watch out for that LGBT community pushback too, because it's getting louder and it's getting stronger. As much as that fine actress has been able to stand in front of crowds and accept awards and sound wonderful, there's still just and people will clap at that. No problem. We'll clap at it when it happens. But there's enough optics out there, and there's enough ruffled feathers and clutch pearls of people who are, and rightfully so, about representation in that movie of like that don't honor that, please. You know, like you'll hear people we know, Katie, that like will push back against this movie hard as it's more like coming from the genuine article of that demographic. So you kind of need a little bit of, you need a rub of universal praise, at least somewhere on some level, to kind of swing the big win at the end of the night. Like even when Parasite wins enough, you know, that's a foreign movie with like the director said, when he's like, if you can get past 1-inch subtitles, you can see a whole new level of movies. But like that movie clicked with enough things and enough people and enough talkers about it. You don't get that buzz right now with Amelia Perez. It's there and people nod at it, but like it's not getting the champion like cinephile love from the water coolers of us, let alone John Q. Public.
Yeah, and it is somewhat surprising. I mean, I do like many aspects of the film, especially when it gets later in the film and what you know, the character's doing. I think Zoe Saldana, again, this is her Oscar to lose, honestly. But I am a bit flabbergasted by as the categories that it's nominated in, that I'm like, what? That I don't know, for it to be, is it the most nominated film this year?
I think so.
Amelia, 13.
Yeah.
Yes. Huge.
That honestly really, really surprises me. But
I guess
we saw at least,
I mean,
I feel like we labeled 5 spots at least where we're like, what is it doing here?
Yeah.
That means it should have 7 nominations and not 13. Like, you know, like, and there's nothing wrong with getting 7 nominations. There are films that would kill, like you said, to get breathed on for 7 nominations, let alone 13. So, yeah, because 13 is like, you're getting up there with like La La Land, Titanic level stuff,
that's
and
that's more than Titanic. I feel
no,
like.
Titanic. No, that's like 14.
Titanic at 11.
Oh no, Titanic won. Titanic might have won 11 or 13 from like 14 nominations. Like,
okay,
there's movies that have been nominated higher than 13. Not many, but those are like, when you see which ones did that, they're like no doubters. Like not like this where you're like, wait, that movie on Netflix with the foreign chicks. Like it's just not resonating. And which is weird because Netflix, you would think, is accessible enough that it can do this. And I brought up their track record where, like, I'm surprised they haven't found the right thing to break the glass ceiling and just win one. But they keep backing, auteur flavored things, which have their place. Like, Power of the Dog is a hard movie to sell to general voters too. Marriage Story is a hard movie to sell to general voters too. Mank's a hard movie to sell. Like, they back good, cool, challenging things. I'll honor that. But like, sometimes you just got to make Oppenheimer. Sometimes you just got to go out there and make the Hollywood thing, you know, and because that's what wins Hollywood awards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another year. It'll be interesting. On the Waterfront got 12 nominations. English Patient was a 12 nominator.
There you go.
List really quick. Ben-Hur, 12 with 11
in an age where there weren't 27 categories either.
Yeah.
Like,
Curious Case of Benjamin Button got 13.
Sure did. I think it won like
Shape of Water got 13.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring got 13.
Yeah.
So again, every single one of these films you've talked about, I would not. Say, there's that, and then there's Amelia Perez. They're in the same. No.
It's not on the same level of very popular Forrest Gump. No. Okay, it's
what's high? There's stuff higher than 13 though. What was La La Land? 14?
I think La La Land was 14. Yeah,
and I think Titanic is 14, 15.
13. From Here to Eternity is 13. Gone with the Wind. Most of them have been 13. All About Eve. There's been 17 films. Yeah, La La Land got 14.
Here we go.
Titanic was 14.
Yep.
And that's it. Those were the two with 14. Our Titanic.
So it's one short of tying the record. Stop it.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Again, look, I
now I root for it.
Fine.
Go 0 for 13.
I think the song that Zoe Saldana sings, I think that's gonna win best
it's gonna
song.
Win.
I think she will win best supporting actress. I think those are going to be the two. I think those are going to be the two major wins.
Well, you said the domino. you said the domino to watch probably starts with Flo, which is crazy. Like, if Flo wins animated, then Emilia Perez wins international, and then it probably doesn't win Best Picture. But if Wild Robot wins animated, Flo sneaks international, Emilia might make best. It's crazy. That's the domino. Flo, all for a fucking cat.
All for
How about that?
Thank you, my panel, for doing this. Hope our folks who tuned into this found it interesting. My prediction show, will be a week before the Oscars. By then, I'll hopefully be able to look at least all the Best Picture nominees is what I try to fit in, and that usually fills in a lot of the other slots when I look at those. So, License to Shill, folks, where can they find you at when you're not being very kind and coming on my show? Don, go ahead, sir.
I'm the editor-in-chief of Film Obsessive. My personal site is still Every Movie Has a Lesson. You can search either of those outlets on socials and find all the stuff that other writers do and myself do as well. I'm the co-host of the Cinephile Hissy Fit podcast, and I teach 5th grade tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Hey, and we definitely appreciate you, sir, for doing that, for sure. My mother was a teacher for 20-some years.
Right.
So I understand completely. So mad props to you, sir. And Cati, floor is yours, my friend. License to Shill.
You can find me on social networks at The Blonde in Front on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. I also am a guest panelist on many vlogcasts and podcasts, which I always promote on my site. And I do not work on Fridays, so I will be asleep while Don is teaching.
Nice.
There you go. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation. And it's going to be an odd year for the Oscars. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out and the fallout from how it plays out afterwards.
That's right.
I think will be interesting if it goes the way we kind of hope it does. I mean, of us, usually there's one film that dominates. You're like, yes, this deserves, winning all these categories. But in a number of years, there's been such a variety of films where you don't almost want to see a film dominate every single category because
Oppenheimer was the first juggernaut, it feels like, since Lord of the Rings. Like, or like Gravity got maybe 7 wins. Like, it's rare. This year looks like a 6-5-4-4-3 night. Like nothing's going to be huge.
Look, as much as we've been being like perplexed regarding Emilia Perez, I do want to say, and I think we can mostly agree, we are so much praising everything that The Substance has been nominated for, and thank goodness, especially for a genre film, for it to get all these accolades, all of the
female directed film
on it. Hopefully people will see more of this and really, show that. So I know we've been talking about a lot about Emilia Perez, but I really want to end it on thank you, The Substance, for all of the things you do. Is it going to win certain things? I'm hoping
it's the dark horse.
Who knows? Yeah. Maybe director and picture.
I think director.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Actress, makeup. I'm hoping there's a lot on there, but it's of all the things that have gone on, these nominations, like thank you that The Substance has really gotten the attention that it deserves.
Right, because it'll open the door and hopefully the studios out there go, hey, we can make quirky stuff and it can make the Oscars.
Like with Parasite years ago, opening the door for Neon. Like, this is movie. Look at them, like, get one. Like, little guys can play too.
They can play too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you all. And we'll see how things pan out after the Oscars. So stay tuned.